and welcome to The Sit Down, brought to you by Aza TV, the place where we connect you with Africans with a unique story to tell. Joining me today is South African songstress, Swan, and award-winning Afro-soul artist. She has shared the stage with great musicians such as Tepo Tsola and Stimela. Her debut album, Ubuntu Bam, took the world by storm, and she has since become a household name. Let's welcome Siphokazi. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
We are good. Thank you very much for joining us. We feel very honored. Now, let's get straight into it. You are from Eastern Cape?
Yes.
Elusigisigi. How does a girl from Elusigisigi think, okay, one day I want to be an amazing songstress? Where does that come from? Where does that start?
It started when I did singing more than anything at home. And I was singing at home when we did our night prayers. I sang at school in the morning during the assembly. And I sang with it was then called SCM, which is SCO. And I sang at church. So I think that gave me that confidence that this is what I was called for.
Because, I mean, I sing too, just for the record. But just because I sing does not mean I sound good, because I don't. So, who was that person saying, Siphokazi, unezwe limnandi, you've got an amazing voice, keep pushing this thing? Who was that voice speaking into your life?
I was talking this morning to my other sister from another mother about my late mom. My mom, she encouraged me with small things. She taught me how to tuck in my tummy as a lady, and I was very tiny and my teeth were showing a lot, and she taught me how to bring them in. She gave me a tip that in the morning you can do that. It works a lot when you wake up. Even the voice, she encouraged me because I grew up as a girl who was looking very familiar to my dad. So people in the community, you see those guys that would sit at the corner there when you pass, they say, "Indele nyoni idla amakhwezi phezulu." And they say, "Eish, you are very dark, man. There is nothing interesting about you." And I go back home, I tell my mother what I heard on the streets, and my mother would encourage me and say, "You are a beautiful girl. One day when you are much older, when you are matured, people will see the great woman that you are. You have a beautiful voice." So even the encouragement when it comes to my voice, I got it from my mom. She was I know people will say to me, "I'm your #1 fan," but my mother was beyond that.
Wow.
My mother encouraged me and my grandmother. My mother was staying far from home. She was a teacher very far from home, and we stayed with my grandmother. So my grandmother was doing the same thing that my mother did. So I got it from home.
How did you then turn into a young woman, having lost your mom? How did you then maneuver life with that one voice no longer there every day?
It was not easy, especially that now I am a mother myself. You need your mom when you are a mother. You need those tips, how you take care of your kids. But when your mom is not there, it can only be God who can give you other mothers who will guide you. But my mother passed on in 2003, and I was still at school. I was at college doing music technology here in Gauteng. And my mother got sick first, and it was not easy for me to go to Lusigisig all the time to go and check up on her. And that alone, it took a lot from me because I couldn't go as often as I wanted to go home. And when she passed on, I rushed for the burial, and I had to come back quickly, go to school. So I had to grieve on my own.
After the whole process.
After that, because I had to be a strong woman, because I'm a firstborn at home, so I had to be strong, and that alone was not a good thing, because when I got back to Joburg, I was staying alone. No one was saying, okay, yeah.
Yo, that must have been tough. And being a firstborn myself, I know you carrying everybody's problems in your hands and your shoulders, and you expected to solve everyone's problems. But you're a very strong woman. And like you said, your mom told you were beautiful even when you were small, and you are. I'm sure you see that every day.
Thank you.
And so you're singing in schools, you're singing in church, you're coming to Joburg to study music. Why is it important to study something that you already are naturally talented in?
I joined many different groups. Mtata, I went there to do my public admin, and I did not finish it. I went back to Lusigisigi, and I joined another group. So we were told there's a funeral there. We are going to go and sing there, and we would sing afterwards. They would say, okay, should we start by giving you food, or you will eat after? And sometimes we would say, no, we would like to sing now and eat after. And the time you are singing, your takeaway plate, if I should put it that way, is waiting there. When you look there, you see your plate is waiting, and that was our pay in the Eastern Cape. So I believed then that I needed to do something, because I really loved singing. I saw myself depending on this talent for food, for clothes, for everything. So I said to myself, or God told me that I need to work on my craft. I need to go to school and make sure that I do something about it before I come to Joburg and sing for a plate of food. Instead of getting something that God said I would get, because He says in His word, my voice will put food on my table. Amen. My name will open doors for me. So if I don't make sure that I do things correctly, I will end up on the streets.
Sure. We're speaking to Siphokazi. She first used to get paid by food, and now she's getting paid in cash. You're watching The Sit Down. How do you handle work and going away to places like the Eastern Cape for a month and leaving your boys behind? Do you leave them behind, or do you travel with them?
I try to travel with them. My husband is very helpful. He helps me a lot with the kids. He helps me a lot even with my work. He's my manager, so we travel a lot together.
Your husband is a manager.
Yeah.